Good morning, Damien. If Sunshine Medals was a record, you'd be at number one this week, I would think. Quite an eventful 3 days for you.
Yeah, we've had a fantastic turn this week where we've intersected an amazing gold number from our Liontown zinc copper gold resource. We've been really focusing in on the gold and copper rich parts of the system, and our first hole at Liontown, where we hit 17 metres at 22 grams gold, certainly goes a long way to validating our concept.
Now, for those who don't know, your Liontown prospect is part of a wider Ravenswood consolidated project near Charters Towers. Tell me, why is the intersection so significant?
Yeah, well, Liontown was an acquisition we made this year. We've hit the ground running there. It's the resource itself that exists over the Liontown and that VMS project is 5 million tonne at 12% recoverable zinc equivalent. Now that zinc ore body was already comprised of 7% zinc, 1.1 grams gold and 0.8% copper. But we've targeted a zone in that system that is it has no zinc within the intersection, less than 0.1% zinc in a deposit where 7% zinc is the baseline. It represents a very different part of the system. We've identified that as being a real area of interest, and we think the extent to which this the gold-rich portion might extend into the footwall stratigraphy, it could be anything. So it genuinely is untested, and we look forward to being the first ones to get drilling in there very soon.
Now, in your release that announced the intersection, you talk a lot about feeder zones. For the uninitiated, why is that significant?
Yeah, so these systems form VMS, volcanogenic massive sulfide systems. They form typically on or very near the sea floor. So this will be an ancient sea floor. These volcanic vents are akin to modern day black smokers on the sea floor. So they pour out a plume of hot metalliferous fluid, and the metals precipitate at different rates. The gold and copper will drop out at higher temperatures, so they'll happen nearer to the vent itself. And the zinc lead within that solution drops out at a cooler temperature. So there is a genuine zonation in these systems. We are chasing what we expect to be very near to one of these ancient vents. And now we're chasing the path the fluid would have taken through that subsea floor. I guess the other thing with these VMS systems and these black smokers in a modern environment is that they typically form clusters. So Liontown, being a 4 million tonne system in its own right as we speak, has the potential to grow itself, but also has the potential to have other VMS mates nearby.
I think the important thing to note is this is just the first well to be announced of a program of 12. What will the next 11 holes hopefully show you or tell you?
Yeah, so we've drilled a small targeted campaign, RC campaign. So this is 1,200 metres at Liontown itself. This is the first hole back out of that campaign into this one feeder concept. We've also got a diamond hole, and the significance of having a diamond hole in that system is that we can orient the diamond hole, so we know in space which way the fabric orientations are going, and we can see there's definitely a bedding parallel fabric, and there's veins that are intersecting at a high angle to that. We can also tie it into the magnetics to give us another vector on how to chase this into the footwall. But yeah, I guess we've got the diamond hole, which is 40 metres away from our spectacular hit. It'll be fascinating to see what we get out of that. There's a bunch of other holes which will prove the zonation concept, how endowed the footwall load is itself. And then we've also got another small part of the program which was drilled at two prospects on our farming ground within the Ravenswood consolidated region as well. So we've got 22 holes outstanding at the moment. I guess the other important bit of news that will be coming out is a resource. Now, the resource update was planned for Liontown to come out early December. Given the nature of these results and the impact it will have on the resource, that timeline will be pushed out slightly, but we'll still gun for that in December and see how we go meeting that stretch target. Even that resource update will have 96 holes drilled by the previous owners since that last update, and I guess with the dozen that we've put in, at least one of those is going to be a nice addition to that resource as well.
So do you expect now that Liontown will grow in its importance or become a focal point in your ongoing exploration in 2024?
Yeah, certainly. And Liontown was already a very significant part of the portfolio. Certainly going forward, we anticipate a lot of activity at Liontown, where we do drill test this feeder stock into the footwall, but we're also going to chase this copper-rich interface, seawater interface, down in through a zone called the Gap. So at the moment, we've got Liontown and Liontown East. There's a zone between which has got about half a dozen holes, all which contain economic grade intersections, but it's just under-drilled. We think this gold-rich feeder comes right up to the edge of our resource, so we'll be doing further work just to prove that concept down the hill, as well as the stuff into the footwall. And then 2024 stands as a big year for us. There's plenty of other gold-copper focus in those immediate surrounds around Liontown. Got a small prospect called Tiger Town, which sits 1 kilometre to the west, and there's numbers like 18 metres at 3 grams from about 12 metres depth that just haven't been adequately followed up. And we can see a real means to make a difference to the whole project pretty quickly from prospects like that.
So a wonderful end to 2023, a bumper 2024 to look ahead to. It must be great validation for all the hard work that your team has put in the area.
Yeah, certainly. Led by Pat Price, Exploration Manager. It's been a huge 12 months, but before that, it's been a pretty long haul for 3 years for Sunshine holders. It's nice to have a bit of light at the end of the tunnel, and we thank them for their ongoing support, and thank all new holders for jumping on the register lately.
Well, I dare say there's a whole lot of new investors based on the recent results. Well done.